Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Targan, it's time to check in with the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess PC port project. It's a mouthful to say, but honestly, this thing is absolutely just making such massive strides and actually becoming a fully playable Twilight Princess PC port. And if you haven't been following along with these videos, this is based on the Twilight Princess Decomp, which reached 100% maybe like 6 or 7 weeks ago. Honestly, this thing's been moving so fast, even I have trouble keeping track of exact timelines. But honestly, I've shown you this 2 times before, and it's one of those things. Every single time we talk about it, it becomes progressively more impressive, because what you're watching right now is footage from linifadomra, basically running Twilight Princess on PC. Sure, the skybox is a little bit janky, and it's going to freeze here for just a moment, but honestly, compared to the last time we talked about this, maybe 10 days or so ago, it is night and day different, and you can see just how fast this progress is actually going. Opponent could never keep up with the progress on the PC port. It is just insane. Before getting much further involved, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. Also, there is a new Discord server for the Twilight Princess PC port, so I did leave that link down below as well. So if you join, say hello, say I sent you, and don't forget to be polite because you're coming from my recommendation. But honestly, the progress we're seeing right here, sure, it doesn't look exactly like Twilight Princess 100% should look, but as far as a porting process is concerned, the fact that you can get into the game, the fact that you can actually move around and control Link, and you have menus, compared to what we saw maybe 30 days ago or so, is absolutely just a massive improvement. And I honestly have no timeline on this. It's going to be a one it's done sort of situation, but you can clearly tell we're probably talking about sooner rather than later, even if that child right there with the black eyes, absolutely terrifying, and Link here has some sort of demonic possession going on as well. Must be Twilight Princess mixed with some UFO things going on. But all jokes aside, obviously the graphics aren't 100% perfect, the frame rate isn't 100% perfect, but it is identifiable as Twilight Princess, and that is basically some of the first steps to actually making this thing work. Because you need to get all the graphics drawing, you need to get all of the logic incorporated within the port, and then basically refine from there. And I absolutely love seeing things that are in progress, because to me, how things get made sometimes is more fun than the actual process of playing them when they are finished. And you'll see here as we jump back into the intro cut sequence, this is the world of Hyrule. You see Link on Epona, you see the wolf form, and you even see Epona appear, because last time we talked about this, Link was basically hovering in the air on an invisible horse, and that was absolutely hilarious. Look, and I absolutely love to see it, but now that Epona is here, it's one of those things. It is functioning closer to what it should be. You'll even see here the entire menu system is going to be functioning. You can change the name around, you can play around with things. Now, I say that there isn't a public build of this thing whatsoever. That probably won't be until the project's actually done, but it is fun to kind of go through this entire process, because I know a lot of you enjoy the process as much as the actual finished port. And just think of a future when you can sit down and play Twilight Princess on your PC in higher resolution and higher frame rates, with the potential to actually have mod support included as well, because Twilight Princess is one of those games, absolutely a straight up classic, but just think how far the community could run with it when it actually was available to kind of play around with, because even though GameCube and Wii ROM hacking and changing up of the game is possible, it does take a little bit more work, because of course you're trying to incorporate changes into an existing console build, where on the PC port side of things, it is an easier thing to achieve. I'm not saying it is free, I'm just saying as a foundational basis, it's going to blow Twilight Princess wide open. And even though we have a lot of missing textures here, just a sea of black, the fact that things are recognizable, the fact that you can tell what characters are doing what, and their models look relatively stable and correct, that in and of itself just shows how quickly this thing is progressing. I'm leaving this black fade for you right now so you can just kind of see the overall timing that it takes to get to the next scene, because this is again not running at its full frame rate, this is in real time. We're also going to go to our first of 2 soundtrack samples, because the music is working, but you'll see that probably took about like 4 to 5 times longer than it should have, but that's not a big deal, it's still work in progress, and here's what it sounds like. But I'll be right back with a lot more Zelda. I mean, it's fun to just see in here Twilight Princess, even if what you're seeing isn't exactly what should be working. I have no idea what's going on with that rainbow in the background, but again, seeing underneath these ports, seeing how the process works out is just so much fun because you get a sense of how things actually work. Now, actually going into the game, you can see Link does have movement here, even if it seems like his surface shape is actually moving a little bit faster than it should, or it kind of seems like he's actually hovering a little bit too much over the ground. But if you took a screenshot of this and you got it from the right angle with everything working and the texture is not going a little bit weird, you would be in a situation where you could probably pass this off as actual GameCube footage to the non-observant out there. And just so you know, I linked the original video as well because I did cut this apart. Linifadomra has a lot more detail in there in the text talking about exactly what is going on. But again, seeing this even get to this point in time, obviously it's not what we're looking at here. This is the actual GameCube version running on Dolphin, but you can tell that it is getting closer, and that in and of itself is an improvement over the last time we took a look at it. And this is how these processes all work. They're iterative. You go through build after build after build, adding and changing code, changing components to get everything to work. Because it's not just getting the logic in the game to actually function, all of the code that would make up how Twilight Princess runs, but it's also all of the different calls for the graphics, all of the different calls for the audio having to be pivoted over to modern hardware because, of course, on the GameCube side of things, you don't have the same hardware, you don't have the same functionality that you do on a modern GPU or any of the underlying hardware. So this really is kind of the hard mode aspect of it, trying to convert all of the different hardware calls into something that will work on modern hardware. But that in and of itself is fun as well, because you really get to understand how the graphic subsystem and audio subsystem work, and then you can actually get some improvements from there when you port it over. And you'll see here, as far as the menu is concerned, if you took a screenshot of this, you really would have no idea this wasn't anything other than actually running in-game or in Dolphin because the resolution is higher. As I've said in previous videos, this is why retro gaming is making a comeback, especially among people that maybe just missed out on being able to play Twilight Princess when it was new. Because there is a lot of dissatisfaction in modern gaming, people feeling it really isn't delivering what they want, and new people are jumping into retro all the time, but a lot of them are jumping into the different N64 decomps, recomps, and PC ports, or even some of the Xbox 360 recomps. And of course we have the PS2 recomp tool on the way as well, showing some signs of life. So people are going to be discovering these games again, and they're going to be able to play them in the future on PC or on other platforms that basically make them feel about as close to a modern release you can possibly get. Because if you sat somebody down who never grew up with Twilight Princess on a GameCube, they may think to themselves, well, it is fun, but it really isn't giving me the same vibes as something like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. But if you potentially one day sit them down at a PC port that has all of the quality of life improvements, 16:9 support, 4K textures, everything else like that, and a higher frame rate, they would probably enjoy this game just as much as they did the modern ones. My soundtrack sample 2 time, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with just a little bit more. No, obviously that audio isn't correct, but it's one of those things. Think of it like actually making a film, which is what I do for a living. I am a filmmaker. When you get to the assembly cut stage and you actually have a story from start to finish in front of you, yes, it is rough. Yes, it isn't anything that you would show to anybody or really actually try to send out into the world as a finished product, but being actually able to see the timeline with the start and finish, knowing that you can then refine it to make the thing that you're trying to make, that is a very exciting moment in time, at least on my end as a filmmaker, having done it for 22 years. So being able to see footage of Twilight Princess running on PC, even if it isn't perfect, even if it has audio issues, frame rate issues, tons of missing textures and everything else, it is one of the more exciting moments, because being able to actually take control of a character means that there is a lot of logic involved that is functioning, because these locked off cut sequences, it's still not easy to actually get them running, but once they are running, you don't really have to worry about anything quote unquote breaking, because you don't really have control over what's going on screen. But seeing Link controllable within the world of Twilight Princess on the Twilight Princess PC port is just an absolute testament to how good this is going to get in the future. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.